episode of Sex Education for our Autism series. My name is Elisa and joining me today is Divya.
Hello.
Okay, so in our previous episode, we talked about getting our children ready for sex education. Today, we are going to elaborate further on that topic. In the previous video, Miss Alia mentioned that we should start them young as soon as 2 years old. So Divya, for those young children, what can we teach about sex education?
So Elisa, these are very young children we are talking about, right? So parents can start from the very basic of teaching body parts. So not just the name of the body parts, but also the function of them. So for example, eyes is to see things, nose to smell, hands to take things. So most parents often stop there, but I advise parents to go further and teach them that boys and girls, we share similar body parts like the hands, nose, eyes, but we also have different body parts like the penis and vagina. Usually the bath time is a very good place and time to talk about all the body parts, including the private parts. So parents can make use of that.
Okay, so you mentioned that we should teach our children about their body parts, including their private parts. So while teaching them about their private parts, should a parent use the actual term?
Oh yes, parents, I do advise parents to use the actual term, especially with children with autism, since they are very literal with words. So this is just to avoid unnecessary confusion. What happens is that parents often use words like pisang or bird to describe a penis, right? So when these words have a totally different meaning, and when children learn the real meaning of these words, they might find it difficult to make the association as to why mom and dad is describing their body part as an animal or a fruit. And another advantage of learning the actual term is that they are able to communicate about their body in a clear manner using the right language. So as they grow older and older, they can talk about the changes that they go through in their body in a more easy manner.
Okay, I see how that can cause confusion since some autistic children are rigid and very literal. Is there anything else that a parent can teach a 2-year-old about sex education?
For a 2-year-old, sex education is as simple as toilet training. So going to toilet is a private activity, right? So parents can teach the steps involved, maybe using a visual cue card or storybook to make it more interesting. So here I have an 8-step visual cue card that we use here in the center. So it starts with pants down, underwear down, and it goes on and on until pants up. But I advise parents to add on the first point of go to the toilet and end it with wash hands. So tell them from the first step onward, that is go to the toilet, everything else should be done in a private space. So just pulling down the pan in the hall and then running to the toilet is not okay since they're exposing themselves. Another thing parents can use is storybooks. So they can read this during the bedtime or even playtime. So once the child changes from diaper to underwear, what are the steps involved? You go poo-poo, you go pee-pee in the toilet bowl and you wipe, you flush it, just go on through all the steps. And training this as early as possible helps in transition from home to preschool with these children as they become more aware of their surroundings.
Okay, so let's say if my child has followed all the steps and rules involved, but still ends up exposing him or herself during asking for help. Let's say, for example, while pulling their pants down or buttoning up their shirt, what should I do?
Okay, again, start with reminding them that it's not okay to expose themselves in the public, and then tell them what's okay. So they can scream for help, wait inside and scream for help. Mommy, help me, teacher, help me. That's a very good skill for children to learn, screaming for help. So tell them that screaming for help is okay, but exposing themselves is not okay.
Screaming for help, a very simple but useful technique. So, Divya, as a parent, I want my child to learn about social appropriateness. How do I teach that? Okay, for example, my 3-year-old son still shows his private parts to his cousin. What should I do in a situation like that?
Okay, so the first thing parents can do is try distracting your child, maybe using a toy or their favorite food. If that doesn't work, then pull them aside. Remind them again that it's not okay to expose themselves in public or in front of others. And if they still insist, advise them to do it in a private space, not in public. Another thing parents can do is, since these young children often spend most of the time at home, they can teach them the spaces in the house which are shared and which are private. So the hall, kitchen, dining area are often the shared space, and toilet and bedroom are the private space. So they cannot, if they want to undress, they cannot do it in the the hall, only in the toilet or the bedroom. Parents can also teach children that if they see a door closed, do knock before going in. Do not wait for the reply before going in. Just saying it doesn't work. Parents actually have to do it for the child to see and learn. The same goes for touching. Rather than just saying, give me a hug, parents can actually ask, can I have a hug? So this gives them an option to accept and reject the offer. So this puts an idea of consent and privacy into children's mind at very young age, not just for others, but for themselves as well. Another thing parents can do is read storybooks like No Means No or My Body What I Say Goes. These storybooks promote bodily autonomy and safety for young children. They can also come up with a social situation like, uncle is coming home today. Is it okay or not okay to run around without pants, run around without shirt? No, it's not okay. So you emphasize on what's okay and not okay and be as clear as possible.
Okay, I see. But what happens if the behavior persists even after I followed all these steps? What happens if the behavior persists and he still shows his genitals or play with his genitals? What should I do?
Okay, so even though you've gone through all the previous methods and he still does the same, then it might be a sensory issue at this point. And I would suggest parents to consult an occupational therapist.
Okay. So, what we can do is, we can start sex education as early as possible. It is important for children to know about their body parts, the function of the body parts, toilet training, as well as what is appropriate. And then parents should also know that it's not a one-day work. It takes a few days or a few months. It takes a long time to teach them about sex education. But one thing parents should do is do a routine practice with children with autism so that they fully understand the boundaries and rules. So I guess that's all for today's video. Thanks for joining us, Celia, and stay tuned for our third video. Bye!